If you're a real estate agent struggling with procrastination, laziness, avoidance of doing the work you need to be doing, like let's say cold calling or role playing, you know you're supposed to be role playing to get better, but you're not doing it. You're supposed to be doing your open houses and your door knocking and your cold calling. You know you're supposed to be following up with your clients, but you're not doing it. You just, for some reason, can't get yourself to do it. Instead, you just go do other things like designing a flyer or writing up emails or walking your dog, just anything else to avoid doing the thing you need to do. If this is you, this video is going to hit very differently. And out of the entire YouTube catalog that talks about mindset, this is going to be the best one. The reason why is because I actually have a permanent solution for you. So back to your issue of not being able to do the things you know you need to be doing. You might be thinking it's like bad time management or a lack of discipline or motivation or willpower, or maybe you just need more accountability. What if I told you none of that was the actual issue? What if I told you it was much deeper? And what if you could get rid of it in a matter of like 15 minutes? It sounds too good to be true, but keep listening. Because of this inconsistency in your lead generation and your role playing and your skill building, because of this inconsistency, you're probably seeing an up and down of your business. You close a deal and then like for a while, nothing happens and you go broke. And then so you do everything you can to get another deal. You close a deal. You're like, things are okay. I got money now. I'm chilling. You stop doing what you need to do to make money. And so you're back to broke. And now you're doing everything you can to get a deal going. You close a deal, you earn a check. You're like, I don't need to do anything anymore. And it's like this cycle just keeps on happening. And for most agents, I've now worked with hundreds of agents. I have personally consulted over 500 agents. If you probably know what I'm talking about when I'm describing this up and down of inconsistent business. You think you're lazy, you think you need more accountability, you think that's all surface level. It's much deeper than that. And it has to do with your beliefs. Let me give you an example. If there was a pool in front of you and you were able to swim, and I told you jump in that pool, you'd probably jump in that pool. Now, if you thought in that pool there's a shark, you probably wouldn't jump in that pool. If there was a stove in front of you and you knew it was to be off, you knew it was off. It was just like a room temperature off stove. You probably wouldn't care about touching it. You wouldn't think twice. But if you saw it was red hot, you probably wouldn't touch it. The only difference between those two scenarios is whether you thought that stove was on or off, or whether that pool had or did not have a shark in it. And because of your belief of it's dangerous, it's okay. Because of your belief of those two scenarios, that was the determining factor of whether or not you chose to take action and do the thing. You believed, if I do that, I'm going to get hurt, so I'm not going to do that. This is the same thing when it comes to prospecting and role playing. If you're about to cold call or go door knock or go do what you need to do, make follow-up calls, but you fear failure, or you fear success, or you fear rejection, or you believe that you're not good enough, you don't believe you're deserving of success, or you're not capable or worthy of, you're not deserving of. If you have these limiting beliefs of doubt and scarcity and fear, you are not going to want to do the thing that exposes you to that. And here's the reason why. Your unconscious mind controls basically your entire life. All of your decisions, actions, behaviors, and choices are dictated based on what you believe is to be true about yourself and how the world works. And the interesting thing about the unconscious mind is like it has no idea what's real or not. So you could go watch a scary movie. I mean, I'm sure you've recalled times in your past when you've watched a scary movie and you get out of the movie theater or you stop watching the movie, and later that night in the dark, you're afraid to be in the dark. You're afraid to have your feet stick out of your blankets because you're like, oh, what if? And you know there's no monster or you know there's no ghost. But because you saw that scary movie, your brain is just trying to keep you alive and be like, hey, maybe check the closet. There's consciously, there's nothing in the closet. However, your mind is trying to keep you alive because it doesn't know what's real or not. And in the same way, your brain doesn't know whether it's a bear or your fear of failure or your fear of rejection or your fear of screwing it up because you're not good enough, your fear of sounding stupid, your fear of embarrassment, the fear of what other people think. Your brain can't tell the difference. All it knows is, our life is being threatened. Let's do anything else but this. So, when it's time to log into Mojo or the Enzo Dialer, when it's time to do that, you're like, you know what? I think I need to clean the bathroom. Or do literally anything else. And this is why your business is inconsistent. You need to do the thing, but then something in your mind is saying, wait a minute, let's not do this. Actually, I think we need to go get groceries or whatever. Now, here's the unfortunate reality. Most people never break out of the cycle. In fact, there's other places in their lives where they never break out of that cycle, whether it's relationships, having your relationships end the same way over and over again, the same kind of fights, the same kind of outcomes, or with your friendships, or with your money habits. I used to have a terrible habit of spending everything I ever earned because I believed money, I wasn't deserving of money. And because I wasn't deserving of money, it wasn't going to come again. And because I wasn't going to get money again, I would just spend it immediately. It was can't say that word. It was really bad. I know for me personally, for my first 3 years of real estate, I struggled so bad with consistency because I feared failure. I deeply feared failure. I also feared rejection, and I feared the embarrassment in what other people would think if I failed. So I also had a lot of I'm not good enough. So I just couldn't bring myself to make dials. I know I was supposed to make calls. I know I was supposed to make follow-up calls, but I just couldn't. I would literally do anything else. And so as a result, my business was extremely inconsistent. Here's where it all changed. About 5 or 6 years ago, I became a practitioner of NLP. And throughout that, I learned these 2 techniques that allowed me to get rid of limiting beliefs. So after I learned it, over the course of 6 months, me and someone would work together every single week to remove each other's limiting beliefs, to find a limiting belief that we were just unaware of. Because here's the interesting thing. Most people have no clue that they have a limiting belief. They just have negative patterns in their life or resistance towards the things that they need to do. But that's all they know. They're like, oh yeah, it's just always been this way. Oh yeah, I've just always dated toxic partners like this. Oh yeah, I've always just cheated on my partners. Or yeah, I've always failed my businesses or talked myself out of doing the things that I need to do. They only see it as that. They don't understand there's limiting belief involved. So me and my partner would address our limiting beliefs, identify them, and then we would address them by removing the limiting beliefs. And we did this for 6 months straight for every single week. And let me tell you, that completely changed my life. Because let's just say the fear of failure, having that belief created the outcome of not wanting to cold call. The fear of embarrassment created the outcome of not consistently role playing. The fear of being hurt in a relationship created the outcome of me wanting to hurt my partner, my girlfriend, before she could hurt me, which was BS because the girls I dated were great and they had no intention of hurting me. But because I had this BS belief that they're going to hurt me, I had to hurt them back. So unfortunately, this is years ago. Unfortunately, I would end up cheating on a lot of my girlfriends out of insecurity. So these beliefs would create this horrendous outcome. And I just couldn't break myself out of it until you got rid of the beliefs. When you get rid of the beliefs and create new beliefs of I'm really good at this. Oh, actually, I'm more than good enough. I'm one of the best at this. Oh, they have no intention of hurting me. I actually trust and love them. When you have these new beliefs, you make room for your life to create new outcomes. For example, So back in January, I hosted my first ever Limit Breaker retreat. Me and 6 real estate agents that I invited out to fly out to Seattle spent 3 days with me. And for the first half of the Limit Breaker retreat, I taught them deep concepts about the unconscious mind and how it works, in linguistics, how to use your words precisely. And with the understanding of that, I gave them the ability to identify what their limiting beliefs are, had them write it all out on a piece of paper, and over the second half of the retreat, I partnered them up. After I taught them the 2 techniques to get rid of a limiting belief, I partnered them up, and I had them all remove their limiting beliefs. So when they flew back home, they saw completely different results. Like Misa. If you are in my Discord, you know Misa. Misa is a killer beast. For the first 6 months of him being in the accelerator program, he struggled a lot with the consistency of cold calling and role playing. He had a lot of fears. He attended Limit Breaker, removed the limiting beliefs. He is now one of the coaches on my Discord. He is the highest skilled person on my Discord. He is so good because now he's no longer afraid to roleplay. He doesn't care what other people think. He volunteers his name to be called on because he just wants every chance to get better. And because of that new behavior, he's become a coach on my Discord. He now teaches on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you wanna hop on to sales training on Tuesdays and Thursdays and roleplay with Misa, hop on my Discord. Just DM me Discord on Instagram, and I'll send you the link. Misa also, within the next 6 weeks after Limit Breaker, took 3 listings. These are his first 3 transactions ever. And in his first 8 months of being a real estate agent, never took anything. After Limit Breaker and changing his mindset, he took 3 of his first transactions, 3 of which are listings. I've also got an agent named Robbie. I'm also very proud of him because he's also a newer agent. He came to me saying hey, Aaron, I've never really done this and I've never had success in cold calling and maybe I've taken 1 listing. He joined the accelerator program just like Misa and learned all the concepts that he needed to. However, he wasn't going fully in. He attended the Limit Breaker and got rid of these limiting beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving of, I'm afraid of success, all this BS. And now Robbie is consistently taking 4 listings a month. I think he's done so for the last 3 months in a row. Robbie has completely changed his life. He's completely changed the way he sees himself and the world. I've also got a gal named Crystal. She does about 30 transactions a year, but they're all referrals from her Chinese clients. One of her biggest fears was the fear of rejection and the fear of working with people that were not Chinese because she didn't think that she could work with them. At Limit Breaker, she removed that fear of rejection and that fear of failure. And she told me this. She's like, Aaron, I've been cold calling since 2018. I maybe get 1 listing a year. And because of Limit Breaker, because I removed the limiting beliefs and also the accelerator, because I learned how to cold call correctly, but she always had this fear. She's always had this fear of rejection. So she wouldn't cold call consistently. Now she's cold calling every day. Now she's fearless. She sets an appointment with anyone that comes her way, regardless of whether or not they're Chinese. I think every week she texts me Aaron, just took a $3 million listing. Aaron, just took a $1.3 million listing. Aaron, I think I'm going to change my goals. My minimum goal is $100K a month now. Crystal never used to talk to me this way. Because of the way she's now changed the way she sees herself and the world, well, now her behaviors are completely different. And because her behaviors are completely different, her outcomes are now different. And all this to say this, if you don't address the real issue, your life is not going to change. Sure, you might make some small advances here and there. However, if you're looking for a life trajectory like this, here right now, you're on path to do this, I hope. I hope there's an incline on that growth path. But if you're trying to make a life trajectory like that, which is completely possible, I'll tell you what, the only thing that's stopping yourself from doing this is a drastic shift in your beliefs. If you no longer have these fears, if you no longer have these doubts, what could change about your life? What could change about your business and your relationships? What could change about your financial situation? The greatest thing that I've changed about my life, I take so much sales coaching. I take so much like business coaching, but my mindset coaching has taken me the furthest, because I could take the greatest sales coaching in the world, but if I don't believe that I'm capable of achieving that result, if I don't believe that I'm good enough to do the thing, I'm not going to get the result. So for you, years can go by. Think about it. Like, how long has your life been going this way? How long have you been going up and down and inconsistent and spiraling negatively? How long has this been happening? How much longer do you want this to go on? Because I promise you, it's just going to continue. And we're all hopeful. When I talk to anyone about this, they're like, yeah, I mean, like I think it's going to change. I think it's going to change. And then I revisit them 4 years later, and they're still struggling in the same place. How would it be a problem for you if you were that? If 4 years go by and you're still in the same place? That's horrible. I was in the same place for like 7 years. It was awful. And nothing really changed until I changed the way I see the world and what I believe about myself and the world, which is why I created the Limit Breaker. The Limit Breaker is a 3-day event where you're going to be learning how the unconscious mind works and how to use your language with precision. And with these two things, you're going to be learning how to address the limiting beliefs that you have in your mind. And I'm going to be teaching you 2 techniques to teach you how to remove these limiting beliefs for good. For an entire half of the Limit Breaker event, you're going to be spending that time removing your limiting beliefs. So by the time your head hits the pillow on the 3rd night, you are going to see the world very differently. And by the time you are all home, back to work, you are going to notice a complete difference in your behaviors. If you're interested in this, you can book a call below to apply to see if this is a good fit. Now, I say the word apply because Limit Breaker there's a capacity. There's only so many people that I can personally take care of in one event. So I only want the people that are ready to go, that want to change their life, that's willing to make the investment. If you're ready to go, you can apply in the link below. You and I will hop on a call and let's see if it's a good fit. I'm looking forward to working with you.